Well, thank you for the opportunity to become part of an organization. I believe it's vlog.com to just first be vetted and to be accepted. And I'm just excited about the opportunity to be able to talk to other people that might be, in some instances, like minded or just have concepts and ideas that they would like to get out into the internet airwaves. My background stems from, of course, most people say, well, African American, humble beginnings, poor. Okay, you have all of these titles and concepts now that can make you attempt to make you feel better about yourself, but I never needed any of that to feel better about myself because I already knew uh, when I realized that I had a conscience that I was not where I was supposed to be. Poor beginnings meaning you live in a neighborhood that they now call the ghetto. I said, wait a minute. This is my home. How can you call my home the ghetto? And who made it a ghetto in the first place? I didn't. But as a young boy, I realized that I wanted more, and I wanted to get out of those circumstances because I was being punished for a crime that I did not commit. And there's so many people out there in all walks of life, all religions and concepts and races that's felt the same way. But your innocence has to get you out of your situation. Be true to yourself, have some type of God or basic higher power consciousness so that you can call on other than yourself and the people around you, because most of the time it's very difficult to get other people to coalesce, mobilize, and be a part of your situation. So I started out recognizing that, first of all, if I wanted better, I had to have an education because I knew that that was one way that with knowledge I could possibly get out of my situation. But what did that mean? I was already in school and I realized that I had to work. I had to graduate. I had to get out of school to even get a job that might pay me money to get out of my situation. But I couldn't wait. So what did I do? I went out and my brothers, they had some uh, stuff that shines. You could shine your shoes with polish and rags. We call them rags. They didn't have cloths then. You just use what you had. So I went out and I started shining shoes. And I started making money. It wasn't a lot, but as a young boy, it helped me to go to the movies and buy candy. And I didn't have to ask my mother because she didn't have. And we were on welfare, the deal, the whole nine. But it was a love that we shared back then when there really was a village. And my mother was very religious. She believed in God. And I said to myself, well, who is this God that she believed in? And how come, if this God is so great, why are we so poor? And then I started realizing that it wasn't that we were poor in spirit, because we were happy. We were happy. We had so much fun. We never went hungry. We had a roof over our head, and in the neighborhood, people cared about you. You could, at the time I was growing up, you could actually leave your door unlocked. And we lived down the street from the market, and the market was like, they had all kind of vegetables on DeKalb Avenue, and it was like bread was the 5 cents, 6 cents, whatever. Everything was cheap, so you could make it. But now everything is sky high, and people are having difficulty living from paycheck to paycheck if they have a job. And we were on welfare. Thank God for welfare. Now you got to be vetted for welfare. So it's like, thank you again, beautiful family. Talk to me. I'm just pleased to be a part of it. And I can, just say it's been great. All of these years, I went through my process and I've been going through it, still going through it. Now I'm definitely, I have my own business. I've been in broadcasting, worked all the major networks because I did not believe what they were telling me. I never believed the hype. They were telling me, well, as a African American, you can't really get that far anyway. Best thing for you to do is to try to get a good government job. At that time, it was the post office and governmental jobs, which was okay. It was a living wage where you could really have a family and kind of make it. I said, that's not enough for me. I need more. So I was able to work, get out of high school, graduate from high school, and then I said, now I can maybe get an education because now I can work and get some money. But I went out and I started working, and I wanted engineering and electronics. And at that time, they weren't pushing any black people for engineering and electronics. It was, they put me in sheet metal. I didn't want to be a sheet metal person. That was a living wage. But at least with electronics, I was interested in that. And they futzed around and told me I couldn't get in that class because of this. And I said, the heck with all of the nonsense. I decided that I was going to get out of high school and go into higher education. And I was blessed, I would have to say, through prayer, mother's prayer, and hard work. I was able to get involved with a company, an educational facility called Announcers Training Studios. And what that did was that opened up a door that I knew was going to be good for me. It was a beautiful door that opened up for me. I was able to get into broadcasting. At that time, they were opening the door for African Americans to get a first-class radio operator's license. And with that, you could go into either ship to shore for the naval people that were out there in the naval area, or you could go into broadcasting. And it was just, I said, wow, this is great. So I went to school. And I had a hard time because I had to work all during that time when I was going to school. But I realized that if I wanted more, I had to continuously work. It wasn't like either go to school or work. It was work and go to school. We didn't have options like today. So it was great because you had to prove this to yourself, nobody else. It was you hadn't proven it to anybody, not your parents or some brother or sister. It was, what do you want for yourself? And that's the bottom line. A lot of people have not asked that question. I was fortunate that when I was young, I really liked to watch television, and I listened to the radio, and I listened to the radio, and it was wonderful because there was a show on radio, Jack Walker, the Pear-Shaped Talker. Oh man, I was like, wow, well, radio, how do you get into that? And as a result, years went by, and I just kept fooling around with, my concept and the belief that I could do better, and it opened up. Took me, I had a year out of high school, and the Announcers Training Studios opened up, and it was just wonderful. And as a result, I've been able to, since that time, work all the major networks, engineering, announcing, because I took the engineering course, passed first class radio operator's license, went back and got the announcers, and got my announcing certificate and became a combo man upstate. My first job. It was like I lived it because I wanted more. And if you don't want more, you can get more, because more takes work, takes a focus, which I had to do, focus. And then I kept focusing, and I was able to take care of my solution. So now I have a show on QPTV called Focus on Solutions. But I had to start working on my own solutions first. And that's the bottom line. If I clean up my backyard first, then maybe I could help somebody else. So I've got all these different concepts, Focus on Solutions. We do Highlights Please, which is another show. And we're getting ready to start another one called Prime Time 2. So, I mean, we're working. And there's no sponsorship. The only sponsorship is God and hard work. If you want to make something happen, you can't wait for other people to help you. You gotta help yourself. And I'm so glad that my health has been great, so I've been able to do just that. It's never enough. Even when you get help from outside people, you're always going to want more because there's always going to be more work to do. It's a beautiful day. It's a little rain, a little dreary for most, but it's always sunny in my life because I try to keep it that way. It's a choice. When you wake up in the morning, you could either decide you're going to be miserable or you're going to be happy that you are alive and that you have the opportunity to get out there again and do something beautiful for you and maybe somebody else. It's a good day. Let's see what happens tomorrow. It's not promised, but it's always good to prepare.